You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? We're here live on the Artist Exchange Radio Show here on BeExposedRadio.com. We're doing a show of hot topics today. No guest, unless we have like a surprise person that stops through. Stop by. Give us a call, 410-702-5657, or text us in your questions or comments or your responses to the topics that we have today. 443-642-9403. Take some time out. Look at our website, www.beexposedradio.com. Look at our lineup of shows, our schedule of shows. It actually has a big calendar. It lets you know when our live shows are on. It lets you know when our repeats, which shows up on re-air, repeat. Not repeat, but re-air. Certain shows after the live shows, they re-air for a certain amount of time. And then we have other shows in between throughout the day. So the station is consistently moving. There are no dead times. So, thank you, sir. That's Robbie. He's on his job today. His fro is getting higher and higher. He got a little S-curl in it. He don't want to let
my head growing. Wait until like 2 more years. You know what I'm planning on doing though?
You want like the kid
and play?
No. I'm gonna grow
he
my
doesn't
hair.
know who that
right?
is.
No, I do. It's a little smoosh with the slap on the
That's
side.
the Gumby, sir. That wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah, the kid was just straight.
Yeah, this is straight.
Straight up. No, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my mohawk like really, really long, and then because like my hair gets long, it gets really straight, and then it's gonna like lay down and stuff. It's gonna be all long and cool, and I'm gonna get some feathers put in it.
Some
real
feathers.
tribal stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
All right then.
A little West Indie feel. Okay. A little Carnival. Okay.
I'm gonna be from the Longfoot clan.
I get it.
Cause I kick a lot of.
Sir. Okay, sir.
That's what she said.
That was it, right? That's what she said. Wow. I haven't heard that one in a while. That's the new one. Thanks, Robbie. Thanks. Appreciate that. But today, like I said, it's a day of hot topics. There's some things that I've been thinking about the last 2 weeks, and we're going to try to at least do this once a month where we can just air out and really talk about things that are going on. We have some pretty interesting topics, and a lot of them are based on conversations that I'm having or arguments that I'm having with people. And recently, I had to reevaluate myself. I try to do it like once a year, quarterly, if it's a lot going on. But just reevaluate like a lot of my friendships and my relationships. And I realized, I didn't just realize, but it's been coming, that I have some interesting friends. And what happens is, especially in the arts, I do theater, so you have rehearsals with people. That's how me and Alma met.
Right.
Well, we met before that, but that's how we kind of sparked the friendship because we did a play together, and when you're around, and then we traveled a couple times.
Travel
so,
always builds a bond.
Right.
There's always some shit that happens. You're like, do you remember this?
Did you remember this shit? But when you do theater, or a lot of shows where they requires rehearsal time, you spark these artificial relationships with people. And it's up to you after that is over to develop that, to maintain that.
Oh, man. I'm so hard. It's so hard for me to do that.
It is, right?
It's hard. Well, there are lots of people I've met that I'm like, oh, I want to be friends with this person.
But that's you in general.
Yeah.
That's you in general. So even people you really want to be friends with, it's kind of like, I'll see you around.
Yeah, I'm very slow to, because I've been, you know, it's one of those things, it's the decision you make when you're 12 and you get burned by some simple child. And so that's my mechanism. That's how I protect myself. So I go slow. I'm like, okay, I really like this person to be friends. I'm just not.
But see, my problem as an adult, I didn't get the burn thing until I was an adult.
Oh.
I was everyone's friend growing up. I was everyone's friend.
I was not.
Everyone loved my mother, so they loved me. I had uncles that were pharmacists. So everyone knew who I was, so I had a lot of people protecting me that I didn't quite know. So I was that child growing up, and then I was the only boy amongst a lot of females. So of course I got overprotected, and you know, the oldest grandson for a long. I just started getting male cousins, so my female cousins are having children that are males now. So now it's starting to come. And then I didn't really play too much with my extended cousins because it was this distance in between us. But so I didn't get that. You know, you were my friend today. One of my good friends growing up, we had one scuffle when it wasn't really a scuffle. He had came up behind me and like did that hungry thing where he kicks the back of your leg.
Oh,
and I think I was having a bad day. And I hit him upside his head. Now, mind you, Melvin has always been the bigger child.
Right.
Like, if you remember that one person that's just, you don't remember them, like, being anything else, but he was always the biggest in the class. And when I realized it was him, I was like, I can't just hit him normally, because if I just hit him normally, he's going to, like, fuck me up.
Right.
So I hit him, like, I had both of my hands together and I just... like hit him. That was the only time that I ever had. Like I fought when I was younger, but that was the only time that like a friendship issue happened.
No.
So, but other than that, I didn't get that burn thing until I got into theater, and then the fake relationships.
Yeah, and then
started showing their face.
We are. I think about it often actually because. I tell people all the time I don't make friends very easily, and it's because
it's me.
I can be, and I know it is. It's me. It's absolutely me. I do not blame anybody else. Right. It is my own issues, but I can be very guarded. So you know, I'll see something I like in a person, but then I'm like, oh man, are they gonna like me? Oh my god, I don't know. Let me not. No, I won't. I'm just gonna stay over here in this corner and watch them. So you know, I have always been very aware of someone's, or at least tried to be aware of someone's feelings towards me, and I read into everything, which is probably crazy. But I'm not. I don't.
Well, we're supposed to analyze as artists. You got to analyze the situation.
And I know that it's me, so I'm not. You know, it's like, oh, I'm not coming to somebody and like, listen, when you said this, what did you mean? I don't have time for that. I know I don't. You don't. I don't. So I'm not doing that. But in my head, I'm like, what did they mean?
Did they mean that?
And then the voice of reason, that still quiet voice, is like, you being a crazy bitch right now. It's like, okay, yeah, I am. Okay, I'm just gonna love me and not worry about it. And that's why I had to learn to love me, because I was always concerned that nobody else did. It's
crazy. A lot of the friendships that I have now, I got those friends and like being in theater and stuff like that. But I have to examine people for who they are. So I become friends with you for a similarity that we have or something in common that we have.
So I got a question. What do you examine from me?
I think you are a crazy individual. But that's your mask. You like being that mysterious, aloof. Maybe I shouldn't use aloof.
Aloof.
Yeah.
No.
That makes me sleepy. That word aloof.
It makes you sleepy.
Don't just make you want to take.
You want to go to sleep before that word, so don't use the word.
It's not the word. It's you.
It's not. It's.
He just called me a sloth.
A sloth.
Yeah, because you are like that's.
We talked about that.
Yeah,
we've had that conversation already.
Is that a factor? Does that have like in your friendship? Is that an issue?
Is it an issue?
Yeah.
Actually, because it's funny because like whenever we together, we be like really sitting like, dang, yo, we a good collection of sons right now. You got Slav. He's like the motivator, but he's always like not really wanting to do a lot.
Yeah, you motivate people like the day before, but then the day of is like you're late. Like you slept in or you just didn't show up.
No, I be there. I don't really be late like that. I be there sometimes. Sometimes I do be late because I be like oversleeping.
Is that an issue? Like your slothfulness, is that?
Does it affect my friends?
Yeah,
my friendships. No, not really.
Are they sloths as well?
This guy in here talking to me when he can just.
Right.
Procrastination is what hurts my friendships. Because my friends will be like, hey, remember that thing?
The thing?
That thing.
See, here's the thing,
thing
right?
we talked about.
Here's the thing about the sins.
Yes.
The sons?
The sins, like...
Oh, the sins.
A lot of people think of them, like, in a negative way. Even though they can be kind of negative because of the word sin, right? But it's a part of you. So why not just accept it?
That's called justification, sir.
Well...
Sorry.
See, the thing is, if you accept who you are, then you'll get better with dealing with who you are. You'll get better with controlling it.
So
I agree with that.
I used to work for Hampton Inn, and a few years during that year that I worked for them, they had this initiative where they had you do an online survey, and they started telling you they gave you your top 5 strengths as far as social interactions go. And their whole philosophy was, if you know your strengths, then you know your weaknesses, and you can find someone to help you with those things. You should not focus on trying to make what is weak stronger. Only you should focus on taking the things you're good at, becoming better at them, and then working on the things that you're not so good at. But you shouldn't focus on the things that you're not so good at.
Right.
You should focus on the things
then
that you
everything
are.
else will go down.
Right.
In the process.
So that's kind of how I feel about it. You there are things that you're good at. For me, I like it when everybody gets along. I am that person. I invite different groups of friends together. Like, I think these people get along great. I want to see what happens. So
I try not to do that because people just assholes. Like,
well, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't invite the assholes over. Like, I know them. I see when I see them. I have friends who are not so nice, and I love them nonetheless. And I hang around them
one-on-one thing
by themselves.
Right.
I don't invite them to anywhere. I
have friends like that. I really can't bring you to big events because I don't know what you're going to say out your mouth.
Right.
And I'm gonna turn on you. Sorry. I'm gonna let you know that up front. I'm turning on you.
I find myself playing peacekeeper. No, listen. Just, I'm sorry.
But I accept people for who they are. I have friends that, like, one-on-one, we are awesome. But when I have this one friend, I love him to pieces. I really do. I have to throw that out there. Because if he's listening to this, or he listens to this after, and he knows that I'm talking about him, he's going to get a fake attitude. But I love you anyway, Mr. Dwight. And I love you. But I remember one time, and I had noticed this about him at another event. Like, I went to an event with his friends, people he knew. And he turned into this sophisticated black man. And I'm not saying you're not a sophisticated black man, but I'm used to us being just cool and being able to call each other bitches and stuff like that.
Right.
So to see this sophisticated black man come out was hilarious to me. So we did this game where everybody put a question in the hat, and then you go around and you answer the question. So we had this thing between us where we would be like, you ain't real. So I put into my question, why isn't blank blank not real? So the question, somebody picked it out. I was like, nobody. So what's the chances? It's like 20 of us in the room. What's the chances of my question being picked out?
Right.
But if it does, it's gonna be a hoot. We gonna laugh, and that's it. So actually somebody else. Well, no, it was him who picked the question out. So which made it hilarious to me. So he picked the question out. Why isn't not real? And he looked right at me, so he knew it was me. But his friends laughed at it, but he was mortified.
Pissed, right.
He was just like,
what happened?
Why would you do that? And I was like, it was funny to me. Like, I'm not used to seeing this person.
Right.
So when I see this person, this is the type of behavior that come out of me. So I normally accept people for who they are. I have an issue because for me, I often before when I was younger, like 20 something, I never showed up as myself. And I often tried to dumb myself down because the people that I surrounded myself with were not people who were like either in college or they wasn't artists or they were like, right. I hope they read books, but they were the type that just worked a job to be able to afford to travel to places to be seen, or this got money to go look nice at the club, and that was their lifestyle. So I would dumb myself. Like, a lot of them didn't even know I was in college.
Wow.
So when they did discover this, it was kind of me. I had my college friends, I had my old friends, and then I had them. And then they would ridicule me for hanging out with my quote-unquote college friends. But I've always accepted them for who they were. Like, I accept people, and I'm not saying I'm coming down off my pedestal. In most cases, I was to accept you for who you are, but I just learned how to deal with people on their level.
Right.
On the level that we met each other on. And you know, I think that's gotten me into trouble because then when I became who I am, like I started.
Sorry, that was just a snippet of the show, but you can check out the whole entire show every Friday at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 12 noon right here on BeExposedRadio.com.